Today's video is all about Lockjaw. He is a 3-cost, 2 power. After you play a card here, swap it with a card in your deck. So the general strategy of Lockjaw decks are to fill your deck with really good stuff and really cheap stuff. So you essentially want to play the cheap stuff on top of Lockjaw, so it will get shuffled back into your deck and something massive will come in its place. That is the whole premise of a Lockjaw deck. So if you have this card and you're looking to use it, stick with that premise. I'm going to show you what the deck I like to play with Lockjaw is and kind of take it from there. So let's take a look at what else I got. Let's talk about the expensive stuff first. I'm using some pretty generic 6-drops in America Chavez and the Infinite. So both just 20 power. America Chavez I will always draw on turn 6, so I'll have a better chance of hitting Lockjaw consistently in games. And then I am using Magneto and Giganto. So Giganto is just a nice 14 power who can get put anywhere with, Lockjaw bringing him out, or you can just play him at the left at the end. And then Magneto is really just great, 12 power with a really good ability. So that is where my 6-drops land. And if you are missing a couple of these, you can fill it in with a few other options. Lots of 6-drops will fit in this deck. Then I am using Jane Foster, who I just removed from the deck. I just double click on this thing and it just flies out my deck. But using Jane Foster anyway, she's on reveal, draw all cards that cost 0 from my deck. So she can also get pulled out and then she would redraw her things. So there's a lot of really good combos with her. And the zeros I'm using are Wasp, so a cheap free thing to trigger Lockjaw. And then Thor, who will shuffle his hammer into the deck, which will also cost 0. So you can pull that with Jane as well, which is great. Then I'm using Jubilee. Jubilee is really, really solid with Lockjaw, so it kind of is the same premise. Fill your deck with really good things. Jubilee will, on reveal, bring something from your deck out. But if you play her on top of Lockjaw, a lot of times she will shuffle back in as well, and then that will give you something good in her place, ideally, and she could pull something good out as well. For early cards, we're just using some pretty solid beginning cards. Sunspot. In a deck where we might miss a couple curves, a couple mana spots here, Sunspot can fill in and give us plenty of energy. And then I'm using the generic Iceman and Scorpion combo just to get a little stall out. But they also are good because they have these on-reveal effects. So like Sunspot's not the best card to play on top of Lockjaw. You can definitely do it late in the game if he's there. But Iceman and Scorpion are still good even if you draw them late, because they'll still just have their effect. They'll still give them something +1 cost or give their hand -1 and then swap into the deck for something big. So that's the general premise. There's a lot of different variations of Lockjaw. I don't have Thanos, but Thanos Lockjaw is a really popular deck. If you don't have Thanos, which most people don't, he's a Series 5 card. If you don't have Thanos as well, I would take something along this approach. There is a lot of pool 3 cards here, so if you're missing some of them, there's a lot of things you can fill in with. But this is the general premise of the deck. Use a bunch of cheap stuff, maybe 4 to 5 cheap cards here, and then 4 to 5 large cards. I mean, most decks you don't want to run 4 6-drops. This deck is the exception. You 100% want to do that in a Lockjaw deck. So I'm going to jump right into some gameplay to kind of show you how the deck works, show you some lines of play that you'll want to take, and a bunch more. So let's head over there now. Alright, so we got Jane Foster, Wasp, Infinite, and Sunspot. So we'll drop Sunspot. We'll save Wasp until we hit something like Lockjaw, ideally. Or if not, we'll just play her on turn 6. Totally fine. Sunspot's a good card to just have on turn 1 in case we miss any other drops. We got Lockjaw, which is huge, so we'll skip 2 and just give Sunspot the power. We don't need to play Wasp yet. We definitely want to wait until we drop Lockjaw, which feels pretty good. He's got Domino, so he's probably playing a little bit heavier of a deck if he's just playing Domino and missing his turn 1. So I'm fine with actually playing Lockjaw and Wasp here in the middle, even though it's Strange Academy, things are going to get shuffled around. For right now, if I can get a bunch of power out, and then Lockjaw could possibly end in a location that isn't full again, and I could play more cards there, that could be actually pretty huge. You played Mystique with no target, so I'm thinking right now possibly a like Silver Surfer deck, and that's why I just had to play a 3-cost there. I'm just going to play Wasp again. I drew her from my top of my deck. Sunspot saving me a little bit, giving him the +4 power from this turn since I can't play anything else. And let's see what Lockjaw ends up pulling out from Wasp. Gets Scorpion, so he's getting our low-cost cards right now, which is not ideal. Let's see what our opponent pulls. He pulls Magic, which is interesting. Puts us to another turn. That's actually not terrible for us. We don't hate that at all. We're playing Infinite anyway, which is good. I'm going to drop Jane here, even though I'm not playing Thor beforehand. She'll actually redraw that Wasp, which will be pretty good to play on top of wherever Lockjaw ends up, if Lockjaw ends up at a location that's not full. So that's going to be pretty solid. He's got Devil Dinosaur. Okay. He's getting a lot of extra power over there. So we're going to try to focus on these two locations, middle and the right, ideally. Oh, he just dumped everything all to the right. That's actually pretty terrible for us. Let's see what we're going to do. I think we're going to play Magneto in the middle. So I could just pass and then drop a Fat Infinite. That might be actually the move. So just get +6 power on Sunspot, and then I can drop a Fat Infinite. Or I could just play Magneto and Chavez. That might just be a little bit more power. So if I do Magneto here, it'll pull Mystique and Jubilee to the middle. I think I'll do that for now. He's also going to reveal first, so it could pull additional cards. But it'll pull those two to start. He's got White Tiger, pulling a Tiger Spirit over there. So we're pulling some cards to the middle. So I'm winning 2 locations. Let's see, what's my deck got? My deck has 1 card left. We got to figure out what it is real quick. It is Giganto, I believe. So Jubilee will pull out Giganto, which is pretty massive. So we'll actually snap. We're feeling good. So Jubilee's going to pull out Giganto, which would win this left location. And then Thor and Wasp will bolster the middle. And I'm already winning the right. So he has a lot of work to do to make up for this. Because I'm threatening right now all of the locations. Threatening to win all 3 of these. So Giganto gets pulled. Thor comes down. That goes back in my deck, which doesn't matter. Wasp adds 1 extra power, and he's just got Jane, which is going to be enough to win that location, but not answer anything else we did. So that felt pretty good. I mean, that was, obviously we pulled some weird cards with Lockjaw. We pulled Iceman and Scorpion, not ideal. Everything else went pretty well, and you saw it was really key for me to check, okay, how many cards do I have left in my deck, which unfortunately, how I'm showing my screen right now, it doesn't pop up, but I only have 1 card left in my deck at that point. So I could tell it was Giganto, because I can tell exactly what cards I played, and I only had 1 left. So it's really important to have your list pulled up when you're playing a deck like this, where you're pulling things from the deck. All right, let's try to get 1 more. Alright, so we got a not bad hand at all. We got Jubilee, Lockjaw, Jane Foster, and Magneto. Obviously, we're missing our 1 and 2, but not something we super care about. We don't want to draw all of our 6 drops early in this deck. We want to keep them in our deck, but the fact that we have Lockjaw coming up is pretty good. So I'm going to actually drop Sunspot on the Raft. A free 6 cost is pretty good, but sometimes people can overcommit to this. I may overcommit to this right now, or I may not. We'll see. I'm going to go Lockjaw. And I'm going to see what he does, but I might end up just throwing Jubilee on top of that. That would fill the location for me and give me that 6 cost for free. Hey, we got Lockjaw buddies. Perfect. All right, we're going to take that free 6 cost. We're going to see if it does anything. So that means Giganto is going to be dead in our hands. We won't be able to play Giganto this game, but we'll hit Jubilee. We'll pull the Wasp, which is pretty awful. We get Dr. Doom for free, though. See what Jubilee turns into. She turns into Iceman. So this is one of the problems, but we're actually very thankful he killed those things. I was going to say, this is one of the problems. I overcommitted a bit, so the raft became a little bit rough here, but we're very excited that he killed some spots there, so I can play some cards on top of that. So we're going to play Jane in the middle, and we're going to play Dr. Doom on the left. Dr. Doom is going to stay at a 0 cost as he gets shuffled back into our deck, which is actually pretty great. And he's going to trigger his on reveal, which is huge. He's got Iron Man, so he's got plenty of power on that side of the board. Might be hard to win the Lockjaw location. We'll try to win the other 2. So Dr. Doom hits, gives me 5 power at both of these locations, and then turns into Jubilee, who pulls Dr. Doom again. Let's go. Dr. Doom comes out again. Stark Tower ends its turn. I get that much power. That feels great. But I am losing this location at the moment. But I can play Magneto to pull things. So I'm going to snap him. I'll play Magneto to the left. He's going to pull both Lockjaw and Killmonger before he even plays anything. So hopefully we avoid anything that Lockjaw can do. And hopefully we can win this left location in a shocking fashion. And possibly even win all 3 here. We're feeling really good about everything that happened so far. I mean, we overcommitted to the raft, but man, Dr. Doom triggering twice is massive. We just got Doombot galore over here. Yeah, and we get a retreat. Felt great. felt great. I was going to say, I mean, he's in a real bad position there. He has a lot of work to do with 1 turn left, so that felt fantastic. Obviously, we got a free 6 cost, but if you guys have Doctor Doom, he's a really good card for Lockjaw decks as well. I don't have him, but if you do have him, you know, throw him in over like Magneto or Giganto, and he'd feel really good too. Hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully you like Lockjaw and the shenanigans that his decks bring. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a subscription on the channel. Putting out Marvel Snap content constantly, so it really helps when you guys are subscribed, so you know when the videos are dropping, and can just help by watching the video, leaving a comment, liking, etc. It helps way more than you know. So thank you for the continued growth on the channel, and as always, keep on snapping.